Great, okay, so that's day one. Day two, Friday morning, begins with beginning to craft the final consensus statement. So we'll be going through some tough times and probably some vigorous discussion back and forth. We open with Dr. Chevalier. His talk is The Lion in France and his path to the MGB, and he'll be introduced by me. Basically, Dr. Chevalier's courage in listening to the possibility that there might be a better choice for his patients, his deep and broad experience in bariatric surgery, and his beginnings in offering the mini bypass to his patients and then meticulously following their results and then courageously reporting these results in the face of some criticism, I think is instructive for all of us as surgeons, and we'll have an opportunity to hear a brief description from Dr. Chevalier, the Lion of France. Then we have a presentation from another surgeon who is demonstrating the willingness to consider the mini bypass when at this time in Germany there is little widespread support for the mini bypass. So Dr. Karl Peter Reinwald will speak about the beginning integration of the mini bypass into his practice in Cologne, Germany. I can tell you that I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Reinwald in Cologne. He has a superb hospital, superb team that he works with, and that we really are fortunate to have an opportunity to listen to his insights this morning. We'll then hear some questions on the floor on the integration of a new MGB procedure into your programs, how to go about it, what we recommend, and what we've learned both from the Lion, who did this many years ago, as well as from the Cub, Dr. Reinwald, who's just doing it now. And we'll see if things have gotten any easier. Dr. Coular will talk about safety, and talk about choosing the mini bypass. What are these critical factors that make the mini bypass the choice for your patients, and how he feels about that? Dr. Taquino will be talking about his insights. He is a truly skilled and international expert in the offering of bariatric surgery. He has the option and can offer a variety of techniques to different patients. And again, we're going to be asking for his insights as to the mini bypass advantages from his standpoint. Dr. Garcia Caballero are going to look particularly at the advantages of the one anastomosis bypass. And Dr. De Luca will talk about his path to the mini bypass. We'll then open this up to questions and answers. And again, what we expect here is a vigorous discussion on the criticism as well as the advantages of the mini bypass in comparison to the other operative procedures. This will then be followed by Dr. Paragli's advice to a new MGBer from an old-timer who has faced the criticism in America for many years, and how he squares that criticism with his experience in seeing the patients and their results. We will try not to ask him about his opinion on lap band because it's so harsh. Dr. Nawaria will follow. Dr. Nawaria, of course, is an international expert and leader in bariatric surgery, but he is a new convert to mini bypass. And so this is an unusual insight, and we'll be talking to him again about his advice to surgeons who want to consider adopting the mini bypass. What are the advantages and disadvantages? And so we'll look forward to that. After this, questions and answers from the floor. Again, we expect some very practical things, and this will be recorded for part of the consensus statement. You know, what can we say? What do we all agree are the best practices for a new mini bypass surgeon in the time of 2012? This will be followed by an interesting topic, and that is led by Dr. Garcia Caballero, and that is renaming the mini bypass. And we'll be talking about the results of our international survey. We'll be discussing and voting on the potential to rename the mini bypass, potentially calling a new class name that would include both the mini bypass and the one anastomosis bypass. And so it's a little clumsy to say both of those. They don't seem to be exactly the same operation, although they're similar. And so the questions we'll be asking, is there a class name that includes both of those, or should we just name a single name that includes both of those, or should we throw out MGB completely and just all choose one anastomosis? And this, again, we expect a vigorous discussion, but we'll have voting and final results for the consensus statement, because I think there's a desire to come to some conclusion on this for international naming purposes and just for convenience for next year's meeting. Then we come to our lunchtime. Again, we're fortunate that we have Dr. Chevalier will provide one of the lunchtime videos, Dr. Taquino, and I'll provide a short video on revision of MGB. And hint, these are really easy to do, one of the advantages of MGB. Okay, now we come to the Friday afternoon conference, and now we're really down to it. We may have had some disagreements, some discussions, some open questions. Now we're going to put together our final recommendations for the consensus conference statement. We'll be doing some final vote counts, and so we'll introduce the discussion by saying that we're going to be creating this, and we'll be reporting on some of the voting and surveys so far. So we'll review that, and we'll be talking about questions and answers on the floor, and then we'll get this underway by Dr. Taquino opening his advice on the critical success factors for the performance of the MGB. And then the floor will be opened to discuss this. What are the critical success factors? Is, for example, Garcia-Caballero and the one anastomosis technique required in every case? Is it optional? Those are some of the things that will engender, we think, some vigorous discussion, but we're going to come to some final votes so we can provide the world with the expert opinion as it breaks down. Maybe it will be a 50-50 or other difference. Maybe we can all come to an agreement, but this is going to be a discussion, and probably a vigorous one, which we look forward to, and we hope then to provide the world the opinion of the experts gathered at this conference. And I can say that we're really blessed with this conference having, hundreds of years and thousands of patients' experience from many, many countries. So it was going to be an exciting time to see what the actual answer to that question is. Dr. Chevalier then will come to the future. Liberté, égalité, fraternity, the French for liberty, equality, and fraternity, brotherhood. Where are we? If we are the MGB surgeons, why are we meeting here? Why are we alone? Why is this consensus conference not occurring with IFSO or ASMBS? And the unspoken, what we call the elephant in the room, is that the mini bypass has been viewed as what we call in the United States a child of a lesser god. It's not an equal partner to the band or the sleeve or the Roux-en-Y, and it's often been described in negative terms. What does that mean for us as surgeons who offer it and believe that it's a good and in fact might be the best? What should we now do as far as organizationally, planning purposes, and our relationship with our colleagues and the international and national organizations? Again, there are no absolute right or wrong answers, but we look forward to a discussion here with possible decisions that we do nothing, we just continue along with presentations, with the expectation that the international and national organizations will adopt this over time, that we should split and create our own organization, that we should take the invitations that we have to upcoming meetings, such as the 2013 invitation to be at the Istanbul International Federation for Surgery of Obesity meeting, to have a full day conference or interest group or postgraduate course. We're invited to the IFSO European conference next year to discuss the MGB at the Bariatric Club. Should there be a postgraduate course or a repeat of the interest group from last year? Should we actually form our own separate organization to encourage surgeons who don't get encouragement from the international organizations? So These are the questions we're going to ask. They're hard questions. I think in the perfect world, we would not do anything unusual. We just meet with our friends and colleagues in the national and international organizations, but I think that certainly in France, in Italy, in Germany, in England, and my experience in the United States, there's been a general inability of these organizations to recognize the MGB and the results of MGB surgeons. And so we think this is at least a reasonable topic, and so we expect a good deal of discussion and some decision making so that we can all agree on the approach. We'll then kind of finish up on these topics: certification, proctoring, resources, what kinds of things can we come forward with. Certainly consensus conference statement we expect to be very extensive and published, so there'll be a resource. But what about individual surgeons? Can they contact, volunteer, national or international experts? Is there a formalized approach to this? So all these are open questions, and we expect this to be a relatively long and difficult discussion because they're not easy answers. This will conclude the main portion, but then we're going to have an open video session afterwards. We encourage surgeons to bring videos, and one after another we'll put videos up. We'll talk from the floor until we kind of lose interest and people have hunger and have to leave. So that ends our Friday. Now the exciting new addition is a Saturday conference, and we've been blessed by the offer from Dr. Jean Cady at the Clinique Geoffroy Saint-Hilaire in Paris, and he has organized between 6 and 8 mini bypasses will be offered on Saturday morning. We'll need more details before we can have sign up for this, but we hope to have 3 to 6 surgeons who can actually join us in the operating rooms, and then another 25 surgeons who will be at Dr. Cady's clinic, and we will be able to then offer a live discussion of the surgery as we go through those. And so we're excited about this opportunity, and we look forward to giving you more information in the near future. Thanks again for listening, and we're very excited about this conference. There's much more detail than I presented here, but stay tuned for more information and visit us on the website. Thanks.